Today we are going to read a book called Tiny Creatures. What are the tiniest creatures you can think of? This book will talk about creatures that are much, much tinier than ants. In fact, they are so small you can't see them unless you look through a microscope. They're called microbes and live everywhere on Earth, in the air and the water, and even on and inside your body. Let's find out more about these tiny creatures and the important jobs that they do. So, Tiny Creatures, The World of Microbes by Nicola Davies, illustrated by Emily Sutton. You know about big animals, and you know about small animals. But do you know that there are creatures so tiny that millions could fit on this ant's antenna? It's hard to imagine that millions of creatures, it's hard to imagine millions of creatures on an ant's antenna, isn't it? These creatures are so tiny that we can't see them with just our eyes. So tiny that we'd have to make the ant's antenna as big as a whale to show them to you. They don't have eyes, heads, or legs, branches, roots, or leaves because they aren't animals or plants, but they are alive. They're called microbes, and there are lots of them. A single drop of seawater can hold 20 million microbes. That's about the same as the number of people in New York State. And a teaspoon of soil can have as many as 1 billion microbes. That's about the same as the number of people in the whole of India. So 1 billion is a really big number. 1 billion is 1,000 millions. Microbes live everywhere, in the sea, on land, in the soil, and in the air. They live in places where nothing else does, like in volcanoes, inside rocks, or at the back of your fridge. They also live on the outside and inside of plants and animals. Right now, there are more microbes living on your skin than there are people on Earth, and there are 10 or even 100 times as many as that in your stomach. Don't worry, although some microbes make you sick, the ones that live in you and on you all the time help keep you well. But even though they are too small to see, they are not all the same. There are lots of different kinds, more than there are different kinds of animals and plants. Some are tinier than others, as different in size as ants and whales. The poliovirus, one of the smallest microbes, and the paramecium, 2,000 times bigger than the poliovirus. So a paramecium is a kind of microbe that lives in ponds and lakes. Is a paramecium really this big? Like all microbes, paramecium are too small to be seen by the human eye alone. The illustrator of this book made a large drawing of this microbe to show what it looks like and to show how much bigger it is than the poliovirus. Some microbes are round, some are skinny, some look like shells, some are squishy, some have wiggling tails, some look like daisies, some look like spaceships, and some look like necklaces. Since microbes are too small to see, do you wonder how scientists know what they look like? Scientists use microscopes to look at microbes. A microscope is an instrument that allows you to see tiny things clearly. Microbes can eat anything, plants, animals, alive or dead, even oil and rocks. They're too small to have mouths, so they just soak up what they need through their skin. That's why the things microbes eat don't disappear in bites. They change slowly into something else. So food changes into compost, milk, and to yogurt, rocks, and to soil. And when microbes are well fed, they are really, really good at making more microbes. They simply split so that where there was one, 20 minutes later, there are 2, and then 4, and then 8, and then 16. Starting with just one microbe of a type called E. coli, which of course would be far too small for you to see, it would take 11 and a half hours for there to be enough E. coli to fill this space. And 20 minutes later, they would split and double to fill this space. That's why it takes only a few that's why it only takes a few of the wrong kind of microbes, the kind we call germs, to get into your body to make you sick. They get in through your mouth or through a cut or sometimes through an insect bite. Then inside you, where they are warm and well fed, they split and split and split until just a few germs have turned into thousands and then millions. They're still tiny, but there are enough of them to make you sick. So it's best to stop them from getting in. Luckily, only a few kinds of microbes can make humans sick. Most microbes are busy doing other things. What are these children doing? Washing your hands helps stop microbes that can make you sick from getting into your body. How does this help you? And because microbes are so good at making more microbes, some of the things they do are very, very big. They can wear down mountains and build up cliffs. They can stain the sea red, turn the sky cloudy, and make snowflakes grow. They recycle everything that dies to make soil so that new life can sprout, and they help to make our air good to breathe. All over the earth, all the time, tiny microbes are eating and splitting, changing one thing into another. They're invisible transformers of our world, the tiniest lives doing some of the biggest jobs. The end. So think about what you have learned from this book. What are microbes? And what's one good thing that they can do? The author talks about some kinds of microbes called germs. What do germs do? Remember that fiction books tell made-up stories and nonfiction books give true information about a topic. Is this book fiction or nonfiction? What does it give facts about? The author, Nicola Davies, studied for a long time to become a zoologist, a scientist who studies living creatures. Why do you think she writes books like this for children?